Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Matt Solomon here with the one and only Rick Solomon. Rick, great to have you with us today. Today, we want to talk about something. I don't know if you guys saw this article yet, but Rick and I were just discussing it. And basically, it's an article from Entrepreneure Magazine, and the title is "The Accounting Industry's Death is Great News for Your Business." And so we're going to dive into that today, really talk about what that means, and also what you can do about that, because the accounting industry's death is maybe good for the small business owner's business, but it's not good for yours. And so we want to talk about what that's going to look like. So Rick, welcome, and let's kind of dive in. Obviously, we read through this article. We've been discussing it for a bit, but tell me, what's your take on this, and what are they really saying in this article?
Well, it sounds like it's obviously a rather ominous title, "The Death of the Accounting Industry." I don't think it's off. I think it's unfortunately accurate. But I don't think the accounting industry is dying. I think those in the profession that don't change, that don't adapt to the changing market needs, will no longer be around. I think that's pretty much a given. I think we're starting to see that already. But I think those that do adapt, those that understand what's changing and how do we need to rethink what we do and how we do it, those will have an enormous opportunity for profitability and success and all of that. But the fact that the reality is the business model that accountants are operating under, which is the delivery of compliance services and trading dollars, trading hours for dollars, that model is what's dying. There's less and less value in it from the business owner's perspective, with artificial intelligence and automation, and we're just going to see more and more of that. There's absolutely a decrease in the perceived value that accountants bring to business owners. It's not getting better. And if you just stay on that track, you will be facing the demise of your practice at some point, or just worse and worse realization rates. I mean, you think about how many hours you're working now, what you're actually earning, the fee pressure you feel, the competition, the fact that, your services are pretty much commodity services. That's how it's perceived in the market. All the compliance services are a commodity. So because of that, when we talk to a lot of accountants, what we're seeing is a lot of accountants working harder, putting in crazy hours, and not making very much money. Some are doing okay, some are not doing well at all. And then the worst part is thinking that the solution is, let me do more of that. Let me get more business, more clients, more tax work, more bookkeeping, more write-up, more whatever. But if you've got a model that's not working, working it harder doesn't make it better. That's what we're up against. And those that don't change, like I said, Matt, I don't think they're going to be around for that much longer.
Yeah, I agree, Rick. And so I want to actually, I have on my other screen over here, so I don't mean to be looking away from the camera, but there's a couple of things from this article that I want to share. And again, it's from Entrepreneure Magazine. One of the things they say is why accounting needs a reboot. As an industry, accounting has been broken for decades. It holds on to the old ways of doing things, even in the face of inevitable change. And they talk about how, people run the firms the same way they've always been doing it. At the end of the article, they talk about part of the solution being there's a difference between a bookkeeper, an accountant, an analyst, and a CFO. And what we're seeing is the trends are showing that the part that's really dying is that front end of the stuff where you're out there selling your services as a commodity, doing the accounting work and all these things when you're competing against the big box stores and the H&R Blocks and the freecreditreports.com that are doing all these free tax returns. So when you're out there competing that way, there's absolutely no way to win. And this article's pointing to that, but it's what we've seen. So when you show up, it's like a David versus Goliath, but you don't even have a shot like David did. Because the reality is it's being, and everybody talks about how it's going to be disrupted or it's slowly no, the reality is, as we see, the profession is already disrupted. And there are people holding on to the old way of doing things, still going out there and selling their commodity services, talking about how great I am, how many years I've been doing this work, why we're going to get work done well and quickly and all that stuff. And the reality is you are taking on hundreds of millions of dollars of marketing spend and of people and power that are actually able to do this much cheaper and much better than you. So that's what they mean by the profession is dying, the model is dying, and it is. And then there's a small group, Rick, as we see, of people who are starting to evolve past that. There's the people that are holding on really tight and dealing with fee pressure and burning out and working their butts off And even if they have found a way to make money in that model, they don't have any quality of life, and the work is just like, it's just a drag all the time. And so what we're seeing is that there's an opportunity on the other side of that to step into a different space. And so, Rick, I don't know if you want to get into that, or you want to speak to anything I just shared there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. The worst thing anyone can do is, bury your head in the sand. Because when you bury your head in the sand, maybe you don't see the problems, but your butt's sticking up in the air and it's going to get kicked. And that's just what's happening. And it's going to change. It is changing. We're in the midst of it. And we have to, not be in denial and recognize it. Now, the other side of that coin is there's a tremendous opportunity. We hear so much about being that trusted advisor. CPA Practice Advisor recently had an article, and one of the things they said was that it's necessary to transform the accounting practice model. And accounting today talks about how we have to capitalize on that trusted business advisor opportunity. It's time to start doing that. It's about learning what is the real role that we need to be playing? What is the relationship we need to have with our clients? And, crunching the numbers and all that stuff, it's got to be done. That's not where the value is. So we have to learn how to be that valued advisor. How do we show up for the client? What's the conversation we have? What's the role? What's the function? And if it scares you, that's okay, but you have to learn it. Learn what it's about. Explore that possibility, because that's where the market's going. And in our experience, which is considerable in helping accountants make that transition, those who make it, those who really learn to step into that role, deliver that value that matters to clients and how to communicate that to clients and how to price it and all that, they're having a field day out there. And one of the reasons they're having a field day, when I say having a field day, I'm talking about they're bringing in engagements for several thousand a month and not putting in crazy hours. And one, excuse me,
Yeah.
one of the reasons that there is so much opportunity for them is that so many accountants are not doing that when they go out there and they start talking to business owners about what's possible, what's the role they could play as a trusted advisor, and what impact that can have on their business. Like, my accountant never talked to me about that. This is awesome. They're making it very easy because of all the accountants who are not moving in that direction. So, it's there. The opportunity is there, but you've got to do something about it. It doesn't happen by itself.
Yeah, and I think this disruption is creating a major void, like you're speaking to, Rick. So there's the people, there's the old traditional way of doing accounting, which is we've been doing it for a long time, and there's not many major changes in accounting over the last couple of decades. There's been a few, but essentially the work is the same on the compliance and the accounting side. And so, there's a group of people that are holding on to that ship. And what's amazing to me, accountants are such logical people. And at the same time, they'll hold on so tightly to a model that's been disrupted. And it's very hard to understand, and I get it, because there's a comfort in staying with the status quo. But the reality is that as long as you hold on to that, you are being disrupted and ultimately dying out. And so there's the old model that is completely being changed. And then, like Rick is saying, there's this new model where you're stepping in and filling the void, because as the machines and the technology are taking over the compliance stuff, or these big tax warehouses are taking over it, the block stores and those things, there's a void now for a deeper understanding of somebody's business, and for an accountant to step in with the knowledge and really serve them. And what we've seen consistently, and we've been doing this work for a long time together, is that there's an opportunity to not only step in and save the small business owners in the country with your knowledge, with your expertise, but to really get good at doing that, and to really get good, like Rick was saying, at pricing, at selling, at delivering, and moving through questions like, things like, I already do that for my clients, but I'm not getting paid for it, and they're not doing anything about the advice I give them, or I'm reactive, and so if they have questions, I'll answer anything they want. We have to evolve past that too. That's still holding on to the old way of doing things, giving away our value, being reactive, all those things. I think something like AccountTech just put out a survey, 72% of small business owners out there are willing to leave their accountant, or thinking about leaving their accountant, because they're only getting reactive service. So those are the things that we're seeing consistently. And when we do learn to get into this next place to fill that void, not only are you going to do work that's more fulfilling, and you're going to have a greater sense of ease and joy in doing more enjoyable, meaningful work, but you're going to get paid really well for it. And what we've discovered as we've helped accountants do that and get paid really well, as you know, Rick, is that it actually helps the client step up and do the work and get the work done. So not only are you getting better clients, but you're getting paid a premium, and they're now getting better results than they would have when you were being reactive and all those things. So, so Rick, if you want to talk about a little bit about what needs to happen, and then I'd love to share an opportunity with you guys to actually support you with this.
Yeah, you said something really interesting, Matt. I'm actually going to disagree a little bit, because you said accountants are logical creatures. And so at first glance, I would say absolutely true. Of course, we love logic and we love order and that sort of thing. But underneath that, many accountants I know, and particularly the ones that sort of know the direction they need to move in but are not doing it, it's not a logic issue, it's a fear issue. It's emotional. And the fear is, can I do it? Can I change? This is who I am. This is what I know. And if we don't recognize that fear and choose to move past it, it gets to dictate our future. I don't think you want your future dictated by fear, because fear says, oh, just stay where you are. Don't change. You're okay. Your clients love you. You're different. You return phone calls, whatever. We need to get past that and realize that there's an enormous opportunity to serve people at a higher level. And we have so many of the skills to do this already. We're very good at advising clients and helping them. We are that trusted advisor. We're also very good at giving it away and not getting paid for it, because we lack a process, we lack structure. So, we give it away. And we need to own that role and step into that role. We need a process map. We need a way to do it, to step into that role, communicate it clearly. When you learn how to do this, you'll quickly develop the confidence you need to really soar. And the best part of it all is not that you're going to be making a lot more money and working fewer hours, which is wonderful, but that you're going to be helping clients in a way that's very different, and it's the most fulfilling thing you can do. So that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, that's awesome, Rick. And there can be a lot of fear. What's amazing as what we've seen and as we've helped people over the years is that it's really a simple process, and we start shining the light on a few of these areas, and you start learning, just as you learned all these skills in building your accounting practice. When you start learning these specific skills, it's sort of a very simple few things you need to do to build a really good, really lucrative practice at the next level, where you're not holding on to the old commodity model. And not really, I should say, not depending on that. It's okay to do commodity work, but there's a next level there that's available to you guys. And so one of the things that I wanted to make available is that Rick and I are actually willing in the next couple of days to jump on the phone with you and to help you put a strategy together where you can really get clear on, not only what the pieces are that you need to do, but also how to, get more clarity on pricing and selling and delivering this work. And even, there's a lot of questions about, do I have what it takes to, if I'm going to charge a few thousand a month, do I have what it takes to deliver on that? Or, a lot of times when we've helped people over the years sell their services, and the biggest thing was not, I'm scared that this isn't going to work. The biggest fear that came up is, what happens if I actually get this client for $5,000 a month? Now my butt's on the line, and what do I do? And so we'll talk through all that stuff, and we want to help you, because those are really, those thoughts, we kind of refer to them as self-limiting views, but those things are really the only thing that are in the way of actually getting your practice to this level where you have freedom, where you have personal freedom, financial freedom, and you're serving clients at a really high level. So over the next 2 days, Rick and I made some time available, and we want to chat with you. We want to help you put a strategy together on how you can do this. And with that, there's two reasons we're doing that. Number one is we want to give back, and we want to serve you guys. And our intention, as we have been doing, is to really raise, to serve accountants so that they can serve the small business community at a much higher level and get paid well for it, so everybody's winning in the process, and help them get better results with their clients. And the other thing too is, after we talk about the strategy, we help you gain clarity, we help you put the plan together for 2019. We also know that you might want our help to do it and to implement it and get some support along the way. So we'd be happy to chat about that. The other side is that there's no obligation. If there's no fit for either way, either side, there's no obligation to do that. So that's cool too. But we just want to help you get really clear and realize the opportunities that you're missing every day by not learning these things. So with that, there's a link. You can click on the link in the description of this video. We'll actually throw in the link for the article too, if you wanted to see that. And we appreciate you guys being with us today. And we hope that this inspired you and helped you realize how simple it can be with the right guidance to get on track and to really have what you'd like your practice to have and look like. So with that, thank you guys. Click on the link, book a call, It's pretty simple. It'll take you to a calendar page to set up the time that works for you. And also, you'll have a short application to fill out just so we can get some more done on our call. It really could be the best 45 minutes to an hour that you spent on your business all year. It really could be that. So cool. So Rick, thank you for being with us, and thank you everybody for joining. And until next time, we will see you guys soon.